The rights of the commoners, or ship badgers, to graze their animals has been a source of argument and debate for centuries, and will no doubt continue to be so for another youth of centuries to come. What we almost certain is that the grazing of animals in the Forest of Dean has gone on since time out of mind. Down through the years, many arguments have occurred between the authorities and the badgers over the grazing of their ship, but seldom was anything resolved, and everyone just carried on as normal. Once again, the commoners found their land fenced, and once again they set about to pull the fences down so their animals could graze again. And so today, ship be a common sight in the Dean, and 'twouldn't be the same without him. The badgers and the forestry commission and the councils and the police have all got together and come up with agreements as to how many ship there can be, where they can go, and how they must be marked and so on. So everybody's happy for the time being.
You take that there, years ago, all that fern there you see there now, that was grass like that there. But where the sheep was took off, the fern grew back, and that's what you got now, fern. And all this would be the same with these sheep, wouldn't you? That green up on there, it wouldn't be a green, it'd be fern. Yeah, once all this is grown up here, you got a job to see anybody walking up through you. The sheep went and the bracken growed. And where can you go in here, birds like that? This is where the forestry men put the wetlands in for the birds. I see that water, that'll be better than tap water. You can actually see the footmarks here, see, where animals is drunk. But what I can't work out, they put patches for butterflies. There's a patch over here, they're all fenced, and a gate in there. You can walk through there, and that's for butterflies. But you go over there and the pig will push it all up. So where's the butterflies going to land on there? You're going to land on any flowers? Shouldn't think trying to add a wild boar in there and push it everywhere. And an old farmer, what used to come here, he said to me, "You heard about the butterflies, Jimmy?" I said, "No." He said, "They're going to fence so much for the butterflies." He said, "I hope they got a big enough net to keep them in." And that was an old sheep badger. He was 85.
They will have their little areas, yes, where you'll go and you'll have to pay to park your car and you'll have to pay to go in to see this, pay to go and see that. And this seems to be the way that they want it to go.
But this guy that's the deputy surveyor now, he's bending the law, bending the rules. He's destroyed what we call forest law.
If we'd had our old boys, they would went and cut the fences.
We're no longer capable of getting up to these antics. Well, it was me hobbling about on two sticks. I manage, but it is a manage. I couldn't sneak off out on the night time and cut down half a mile of fencing or set fire to the forest. Which years ago, that's what would have happened. We'd been out there with a candle in a jam jar and set it off somewhere. And, you know, it burned parts of it out. If they put fencing up, we go and cut the fences down.
But they don't want to, we're just commoners. We pass you by, you know, we're just, well, I'll say it, country bumpkins. That's what they think we are. But we're not. We're trying to look after, I'll say, our country. But they don't want to know. We haven't got a graduate's degree. And that's the way we got talked at.
The Common Inn initially was designed to help poor families. People that worked in the pit and couldn't live on the wage, so they'd have a few animals out in the backyard. A couple of sheep, a couple of pigs, bits and pieces. There's a lot of people today, Michael, in same as our age, and the poor buggers can't afford to light the fire.
No, I know they can't.
And if they light the fire, they can't have any dinner. Well, that's never the way of life was meant to be, is it? They need a little bit of support from one way or another. Common Inn could be that support.
because they done a prior first down at the bottom of Nibley, burnt it. Me and Dad went up and we took some video of that. Watching them burn down on the prior, it was horrible. They just cut everything.
I reared every one of them on the bottle. They were a pet herd, they were. And when you got to let them go, it hurt. When you can think of seeing 1,000 sheep on 4 rows, and cattle and all, they were all stacked up and they were there for everybody to see, and looking in the valley after the day they lit the fire, because them fires burnt for days, mind. It was just a blue stench.
A lot of people, elderly people who had loads and loads of sheep, when it came to reintroducing sheep to the forest, and you say to somebody, well, so going to put any sheep back out? I don't think I should bother mind. I'm going to keep my bit of money in my pocket. And they wouldn't reinvest their money to put the sheep back on the forest. So the minimum 5,000 or the maximum 5,000 we were running in the forest suddenly dwindled. Big problem came with that because we haven't got a large quantity of sheep. But what we used to do, say, was if we had problems with this deputy surveyor, we would sort of say, no, listen, if you keep being awkward, we'll put 500 sheep or 1,000 sheep where you don't want them. And that used to work. You know, when we had 5,000 sheep, we could go and put 1,000 sheep anywhere we wanted to. But when we only got 2,000 sheep, we're stumped and we haven't got the arguing power anymore.
It's an old tradition which is sort of getting outdated because of the way it is. It's a cool way of doing it. It goes back to a time with horse and cart when there wasn't traffic on the road. You know, you're not going to knock a sheep out with a horse and cart, are you? And so you see some of the sheep and they're just they're full of maggots.
As long as the sheep badgers are looking after the sheep properly and they're sort of keeping an eye on them, I don't think anybody's got any objections at all.
Hey, I get pissed off walking down the road and get sheep shit up in your shoes.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
drugs in the house.
but I accept it.
They're not supposed to be where they are.
If they were kept to where they should be, nobody would have a problem with it.
But the sheep have been there for years, for centuries. So they're as much right as anybody else. More so.
Most of the rights of the foresters will be taken away from them, like for commercial reasons.
You just fight in a constant battle, you know, with people that move in. They come here, look at the sheep and say, oh, aren't they lovely, you know, and it'd be nice to live here. They come down with their bikes and their dogs and, you know, they just got no respect that these sheep are here. That's their home, the same as they got a home. That's the sheep's home. Even though we were girls, Dad would have loved the boy, I'm sure, but we were all girls, but we were still brought up to appreciate what the forest gives us. It was sort of freedom. You knew that you had 5 minutes, you could go and sit and look at the sheep and think, wonder what they're thinking about us. Sat here like lemons, you know. It's like I say to Mick, if he gives up, I don't know what will happen to the Commoners Association. Because there's nobody with the brains to do what he's done.
If we go, that's it. The forest will be no more.
Nobody wants to accept that we've got the right of common. And nobody wants to accept that we're not going to give up. We're here till we die. And hopefully the children and grandchildren will be here doing the same job after we're gone.
My missus got grandkids. They don't want to know. They're on the computer, they're playing football. No, it'd be very doubtful is anybody else to take over. But won't it be strange for no sheep to be around? Come to the forest and you won't see no sheep. And the kids won't know with them. They won't actually know there were sheep in the forest. Yeah, it will be definitely strange.